let your experience begin right now. From high atop the mountains of British Columbia to you listening around the world, this is Spaced Out Radio. You can follow us on our website, spacedoutradio.com, on Twitter, @SpacedOutRadio. Give our Facebook page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. You can follow us on Instagram, Dave Scott, SOR, or on our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show. Buckle up, space travelers. It's time to go for a ride as we are live on Spaced Out Radio.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
The deeper I go, the deeper I fall.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. Sorry about the technical issue. My computer decided it didn't want to allow me to hear what was happening on Skype. It's kind of hard to do an interview when you cannot hear your guests, so we had to reboot everything. Thank you for your patience and for listening in at spacedoutradio.com, on Spreaker, and now on Revolution Radio. We welcome you to tonight's show as we broadcast out of Uncle Jimbo's cabin, live in the Great White North here on Thursday night, early Friday morning if you're on the East Coast. Here at Spaced Out Radio, we are broadcasting 3 hours a night, 7 days a week, because we want to be your official one-stop shop when it comes to the supernatural, paranormal, spiritual, conspiratorial, and so much more. If you're on the Spaced Out Radio side and you like our music, you can thank the guitar god himself, Ron Bumblefoot THAL, formerly of Guns N' Roses. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio. You can check out the Bumblefoot banner at spacedoutradio.com. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Give our Facebook page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. On Instagram, I can be followed at Dave Scott, SOR. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show, and our website is spacedoutradio.com. At this time, we'd like to say hello to everyone listening in on the Revolution chat room, on the High Plains Talk Radio Network, in the Spaced Out Radio chat room on Spreaker, along with our fans on Facebook at Euphoria Chronicles, Chronicles of the Unknown, Forest Moon Paranormal, and our flagship chat room, the SOR Space Travelers Club. If you haven't signed up for the Space Travelers Club, you have 24 hours in order to get your name in for tomorrow night's monthly prize draw. It costs an average of $5 a month. With that, you get your name put into the prize draw once a month, access to a private group interviews, access to a special section on our website, and so much more. While checking out Spaced Out Radio on our website, you can read our latest blogs. Mine is on the paranormal, and check out Eric Markham's SOR Spacewire for your latest and weird news. Tonight's show is brought to you by Rivulet Reiki and Readings, providing healings in person or at a distance. PurplePlates.com, helping heal your body, mind, and soul. The new Agora newspaper is the official paper of this show, and the iTunes app Spirit Storybox. It's the official ghost hunting app of SOR. Remember, if you are a listener on Revolution Radio is the largest non-profit online radio station online. Take the time to visit freedomslips.com today and donate today. Tonight on Spaced Out Radio, we are talking to the dead. Literally. We've done this show now before, but just not for 3 hours. Bill Hauser is one of the best experts you can find when it comes to using radio waves and frequency to communicate with spirits on the other side. Bill has been investigating the paranormal for the better part of 20 years, but things really heated up when he started testing out the ghost box on a trial basis. The ghost box, if you're not familiar with it, is like a continuous radio dial that is scanning the frequencies of radio waves. In between, it's been said that the pitch of the frequency can actually pick up those who are deceased and trying to communicate. Now, the machine does have its detractors, who will say the human ear will hear pretty much what it wants to out of the radio waves that are projected. I used to think that too, until the second time we did it live on this show. I actually heard a voice on the machine say my last name. And no, Scott isn't my real last name. But it made me believe. Just like that. And I think there might be something there. Bill Hauser joins us on Spaced Out Radio tonight. Bill, welcome to the show. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well, Dave. Thank you for having me on the show. And I just want to say hello to all the great listeners out there.
You know what? I always like having you on board because it's entertaining. You know, and I recall the first time we decided to do this show, I really wasn't sure how it was going to pan out, but everybody was just clamoring to it, trying to say, whoa, is this real? Is this actually live? We're actually doing this on the air. And we had a lot of success with it. It does turn into a lot of fun, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, you never know what's going to come through that radio. And tonight I have an extra treat. I brought an extra ghost box, the new one that I have. It's called the Coop Box 10. It's made by Steve Cooper. He's from the UK.
Oh, what's the difference between that new one and the ones you've previously used?
It's just has a slightly different sound to it. The one I'll be using most of the time tonight is one that has a more of a clicking sound, but this one is more, it scans a lot faster, so it'll have a whole different feel to it, and you just don't know what's going to come through. Things have really come through on this box lately. I've been using it, and I'm really enjoying it, so yeah, the best of Steve Cooper. He made an excellent ghost box. I can't complain.
Now, Bill, for people who are not familiar with it, I would like you to take some time and explain how the ghost box works.
Well, basically, you explained it fairly well. It's basically continuously scanning, never stops, or it should never stop, actually. And what happens is basically the entities are able to remodulate that broken up audio that's coming in from, say, broadcast radio, music, and DJs out there, and form words and sentences with it. So they're able to better communicate with us.
What made you believe, Bill, and you've been around the paranormal field for 20 plus years, what made you believe that the ghost box is actually spirits talking?
Well, I used it at the beginning in 2010. I hacked my first ghost box. It was a Hack Shack model. And basically, I was a little skeptical, but I was going to be somewhat open-minded to this. And I tried it out, and I was just amazed the amount of replies I was getting back and voices that I even recognized of people that have passed away. So, yeah, I'm definitely on board with it. It does work. And you just don't know what's going to come through when you communicate. It's kind of like an open party line, shall we say. That's kind of a best analogy, I guess. But it's just amazing the amounts of conversation that can come through there.
Now, is there a difference between the spirit box that people use and what a ghost box does?
They're basically the same thing. It's just the names that have been thrown around there. There's Ghost Box, Spirit Box, Spook Box, all these different names that have been thrown out there for the Ghost Box, basically. I like to say the Ghost Box myself. I just find it very comfortable. These are just all just nicknames for the radio. It's a sweep radio is a little more technical, I guess, but that's another term that's being used a lot.
Do you use both, or do you prefer to just use your own professionalism on the ghost box?
Well, I've acquired a little collection of these radios, and I find they all have a different feel. They operate slightly different, and depending on where I am, I just get some really incredible results with them. So basically you have the PSP-7. That's the one that was used a lot on the Ghost Adventures show by Zach. And that one, sure, it's been popularized a lot, but it does work pretty good for me, I've found, but it is noisy, and so I like to go over to the custom-built radios. These are built by different builders out there, like Andy Openlander, Jay Prather, and there's many other guys out there, Steve Cooper. It's just amazing the amounts of time that these guys have spent trying to better affect the sounds and tones of the radio, and then basically they tweak it and experiment. So it's just an ongoing process that's going on with the Ghost Box. So it's just going through more evolution of changes.
Bill, what made you believe that this was the future of communication in the paranormal? Because we're going to get into the detractors of this in a moment, but you are a staunch believer that you are actually getting communication. What led you to believe that this was the device to use?
Well, actually, the radio itself has been used a long time for spirit communications, going back to tube radio and tube valve radios and stuff. And then basically to the transistor radios, to the radios we have today, rocking between that. That's sort of the earlier day version of a ghost box, rocking between the dials and creating that audio for the spirits to use.
Bill, you can't question people whether or not there is authenticity around a machine like this. There are detractors. There are people who will say that, all it is your own ear that is picking up whatever it is you think you want to hear. You got people saying, anything can be heard on the radio, and if you if you turn the dial fast enough, it'll sound like multiple sentences going on at once. What do you say to the detractors out there who say that you are not having true communication with spirit?
Well, if you listen very carefully while it's scanning, when the voices come through, it's kind of like they're just above the scan. And basically, for that brief little fraction of a second, their voices stand out very much. And actually, there's a slight quietness behind their voice. And so that's something that I've noticed quite a lot with the responses. And, of course, I look for intelligent responses. Yeah, you do get a lot of voices coming out of the ether, shall we say. But anyway, I look for intelligent responses. Are they replying back to me to what I'm saying? So that's how I measure the ghost box.
So when you hear people kind of ripping into it or saying that the machine is full of crap, it doesn't work, what is your opinion on that? How do you respond in a positive way to try and change their minds?
Well, I guess you'll never change some people's minds, but I've noticed now in the paranormal community, especially with a lot of ghost hunting groups, they're starting to give the opportunity to experiment with the ghost box itself, if it's the PSP-7 or the PSP-11 or other types of Hack Shack type radios that they can acquire. Those ones are harder to find now, but I'm noticing more use of it out there.
So when you're using it, how do you use it in a positive sense and know that you're getting true communication?
Well, it's all about contact field, and I've been kind of throwing around contact field development lately, that concept. All it really is, as far as I'm concerned, to what it means to me, is your connection to the radio, the device. So it's about state of mind. You got to be in a fairly positive mind when you go and use these devices. You can't be doing this if you're angry and pissed off at the whatever. So definitely you want to be in a good state of mind.
Over the last year, the ghost box has taken a lot of heat because of certain people in this field. Certain people who are saying they are using it to create conversation with people who are famous and recently deceased, people who are, trying to get their name out there, saying that they are having communication almost immediately after a person dies or passes away. What is your feelings on that?
Well, people that are trying to contact famous celebrities that have passed over, it's just a claim. And quite frankly, unless they really analyze their work and, see the wavelengths and everything and match it to recordings of these passed away celebrities, it might be something there then. But at the same time, it's also respect and having respect out there and, putting it up on the internet after you try to contact whoever has passed away just recently that's famous. It is disrespectful. And so you have to show a little bit of respect here. No matter if they're famous or not, you got to use some respect.
Well, let me ask you this. Why is it disrespectful?
Why? Well, number one, if I did something to a person who had their relatives pass over and make claims, I've contacted your grandma, and put it up on the internet, and me even knowing this person, they would be probably a little choked by it, I would say. I would be quite choked if that happened to me. So that's the thing about it, right? You have to use common sense. You got to be a little bit of tactfulness in your attempt. You can't be doing the paparazzi ghost boxing all the time. Yeah, you can do it, but putting it up there and making the claims is another thing. So that's how I feel about it. I think it's coming down to common respect here. That's the main thing.
I have a question from James in the SOR Space Travelers. He's saying he got out of ghost hunting in 2005 and had never heard of the ghost box until recently. When did the ghost box get introduced?
I believe it came out probably around 2002 is when I started hearing about it slowly on the internet. Again, we have to look back to Frank Sumption. He was the guy that developed and automated the ghost box from what you used to have to do, rock it back and forth. So basically, he created a circuitry to form a continuous scan, automated it, and, he just passed away 2 years ago now, and it was on this month. So, it's his legacy that we got to honor here, as far as I'm concerned, for the forefront of the other ghost box builders that are out there. He's paved the path now for them, and they can move on to improve it and better sounding and quality. I didn't really start playing with the ghost box till 2010, so it took me a little while to get my hands wet on the whole issue.
How quickly does communication happen?
Well, again, it comes down to your contact field. This is what I'm finding, because I've watched other people use the ghost box, and some people, it instantaneously happens, and other people, it's not so good, and then others, it's just nothing really is coming out for them. So I think it comes down to your state of mind, how you use it, your positiveness behind it all, and your connection to that device. And, basically the device is just there. It's just bridging the gap with you. You on this side make a lot of difference.
Is it how you formulate the questions, or can anything really be asked?
Well, the question shouldn't be real complicated or like 2 or 3 part questions. They should be very simple. Just like you do a regular EVP session with a digital recorder, I find. Try not to keep it too complicated. And the other part is just open-mindedness to the device, using it at the time.
I'm getting a good question here from Gail in the SOR Space Travelers. And she's saying, I've never seen one of these. What does it look like, and what does it do?
Well, they come in all shapes and sizes, shall I say, and they definitely they're not equally all the same in look. So the ones I have are handheld. Some of them are more like a base station type radio. They're a little bigger and bulkier, and then others are small, like little, just basically some of the Hack Shacks are just like little portable radios. So that's basically it. It comes in many sizes. All you got to do is just Google Ghost Box radios and look at the images out there, and they're just amazing, the amounts of different style Ghost Boxes, both custom built and then the Hack Shacks and then the manufactured ones like the PSB 7, PSB 11.
That's the technical side, but do they look like a radio, like an old radio that you would see in a 70s, early 80s car with the dial, or how do they work like that?
Well, I'd say the custom-built ones tend to be like in project boxes, like looks like somebody doing some kind of electronic experiment. They got dials and little speakers and, little areas for the battery to go in and so on. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of what those ones look like. The other ones look like little portable radios, FM, AM radios that you hack. So, I mean, that's basically all I can say on that one.
When you say hacked, what do you mean by hack?
Well, some of the Hack Shack radios you had to hack either by bending a pin to allow it to continuously scan, or go in there and cut some ribbon wires, or whatever the case is. There was a lot of instructions how to do that on some of them. But a lot of the Hack Shack radios now, those ones are harder to find to hack because they're just getting more rare. And a lot of the newer ones, they've changed the whole circuitry and configured everything totally different, so they are very difficult to hack.
So, do you believe then that when it hits these radio signals, and it hits, I don't know how many channels in going on, do you believe then that it's in between those signals that's where the ghost is able to be heard?
Possibly, yeah. I mean, those are pretty technical questions, but I would say that when the voices come through, it almost sounds like, as far as I'm concerned, they're above the scan when the voices come through, and some of them come through very strong. So, it's all how you listen and perceive it. Like, some people have a tough time listening to the Ghost Box because all they hear is that, all the static and white noise and the clicking and so on.
I have a question from Shar in the Spaced Out Radio chat room on Spreaker. She is asking, do you use any qualifying questions to know if you're actually talking to who they say they are?
Yeah, I do. I kind of do a little research. If I'm using it on investigation, I find out a little bit about the location I'm at, or the family at, say, a residential area. If they want me to do ghost box sessions or whatever, they feel that there's something that's going on there, or maybe a family loved one that's passed over a while back is hanging around. So I do get some of that information beforehand. It's like going and doing an EVP session. I tend to treat my ghost box sessions very much like an EVP session.
And that makes very much sense because, in the end, it's just a different way of using technology in order to get paranormal contact. And when we look at the way technology has really changed over the last, say, even the last 2 years that I've been in this field, it's amazing with how all this technical gear is really improving the advancement of communication with spirit.
Yeah, I mean, there's different forms of communication with spirits, too. I mean, you can use different techniques for EVP work using inductive microphones and, with coils and that. I mean, there's all different styles of communication, that's for sure. I mean, people use computers. The ITC, the Instrument Trans Communications, is quite vast in the way they communicate with spirits or entities that have passed on. They use televisions, you name it. So they really look at how they go about doing what they do, and some of the work has been very impressive that some of these people have done. The history of it has been there for quite some time.
Are these affordable machines for people? Like, let's say someone who's a complete amateur wants to go out and buy one and pick one up. How much do they cost?
Well, if you're going to go out and, say, buy a PSB 7, you're probably looking at about, in Canadian funds, you're probably looking around $85, and then whatever with the tax and shipping and handling to send it to your home. So it's relatively pretty affordable. It's under $100. Or if you can find one on Craigslist or eBay or whatever used, that's another way some people go about it.
So in layman's terms, Gail is asking in the SOR Space Travelers, the ghost box is basically like a paranormal telephone. You and the ghost talk to each other.
Yeah, that's another analogy that people have used it or consider it like a telephone.
Is this your main form of communication now, Bill? I know, and I've talked to people all around North America. Everybody knows who you are when it comes to using this. I don't know if you actually knew that or not, but you have a very staunch and quality reputation about how the ghost box is used. How do you gain such a reputation like that with something that is very much still in its infancy?
Well, I do my videos on YouTube, and I don't edit them at all. They're raw videos. That's one thing I've done. And I feel that's very important, just to show it as it is. And whatever comes through is fine, and no enhancements or whatever. And a lot of the audio work I do, I treat, like I said, like EVP. I look at it, I find the highlights, and I don't do a lot of fixing up or whatever. I just basically amplify it a little bit so you can hear it, because a lot of these clips, audio clips, I'll use for radio shows when I get invited in. So I want them to at least sound, somewhat decent when you put them on radio. And generally speaking, I don't do a lot of editing whatsoever on a lot of this stuff. It's very clean, crisp. Basically, it's what you get is basically what I record is what you get, basically.
Where do you like to investigate? Do you take... and let me rephrase that. When you go out on investigation, where do you like to do this? And do you do it at home, much like somebody would use a Ouija board, or do you always go to a location?
Well, I keep the two separate, research and investigation. When I get contacts from people that want me to come to their homes or businesses or wherever, that's investigation. So I never put any of that stuff up on YouTube or whatever. I just leave that for the client. I have complete confidentiality with the client. Now, when I do research, I pick parks, cemeteries. I've picked back alleys in the east side of Vancouver. I mean, it doesn't really matter where, as long as I can get in there and access to it and respect private property, I do so. And parks have been one of the greatest sources, especially when you do a little history. You find out what the park was before, and, little things like that I look for. I always do a lot of checking out, so I do a lot of research and history of the locations I go to.
Claudia brings up a very interesting point in the SOR Space Travelers. She is saying, do you think the ghost box was invented because so many ghosts have used the telephone back in the old days when we actually had telephones to plug in, to communicate with their loved ones?
Oh, that's possible. I mean, you look at, the progression of tape recorders too. I mean, now a lot of the digital recorders have a lot of filters on them that are going to be hard to pick up those EVPs. So the old day telephones were very good in that regards, I would say, definitely. the old-fashioned tube radios. I haven't really had a lot of experimenting with them, but that's something that I've been really interested in, is, playing around and using and, doing a little experiments with that as well.
Shar has an interesting question in the Spaced Out Radio chat room on Spreaker. She is asking, if you remember the movie White Noise, I believe Michael Keaton had starred in that movie. Are there any white noise televisions where you can actually see and hear spirits at the same time, or was that just Hollywood?
I would say images can come through a television, especially the older televisions that are out there. I've even heard with even some of the newer LEDs, whatever they call them, the flat screen LEDs, TVs and so on, have had abilities to do that, depending on how you set it up. It's very possible that I've had a little bit of experiments with that too. I've used an old travel black and white TV, and I've actually had some faces come through.
What does that look like, Bill?
Well, it's black and white TV, so you're just going to get just basically an image. It's a human type form. Depending on how they manifest their energy, you get maybe a little bit more detail to the face, but you can tell definitely it's of a human form, and you can tell it starts like a little blob and it starts to take shape. And now we have to think of the analog TVs. Everything has gone digital, so basically there's no TVs being emitted, only maybe up north. I think on the CBC they still use it, but down here where I am, I've gone through that dial many times. I have not seen any television come through on that TV, so it's a really good opportunity for people to experiment with it. And I use it where I'm basically using the ghost box, so I keep TV sound down and I use the ghost box to have verbal communications.
I'm curious to get your response on this, because this is a question I've never asked you in the number of times you have been on this show to do the live ghost box sessions, which we're going to get into at the top of the hour. A lot of people, Bill, absolutely tear apart communication with a Ouija board. And they believe it's evil, that it's dark, it's demonic, anything that has to do with something devious and devilish. Yet, here we are using the ghost box, which is the exact same thing. I use a pendulum. Pendulums seem to get away from that reputation as well. What is the biggest difference between what you're using with a ghost box and what people are using with a Ouija board?
Well, I think, too, they're very similar in how you use them, I believe. I mean, I've not played with the Ouija board. I don't get into that personally. I just keep away from it personally. But, however, those users of the Ouija board who are really good at what they do and they're well-grounded, I think that's the number one. You have to be well-grounded. And I keep well-grounded doing this work as well, so protection is a big thing as well, and prayers and that and so on. So again, you're coupling your mind too with the Ouija board, and so basically you're opening the portal that way. I've been understood with it, but I could be wrong in the exact mechanism and how it goes about doing that and getting results. But however, that is what I've been told about it. So just a slight different mechanism with the ghost box. So, but again, it's that contact field. Basically, I keep an open mind to stuff coming through and analyzing and understanding what I'm hearing. And sometimes it's going really fast, so I don't always catch everything at the time. But that's why I always emphasize record what you're doing all the time. So always record your sessions, so you can listen back later.
I find it funny that you are absolutely safe and sound to use a ghost box, yet you will not touch a Ouija board. Like, to me, that is irony at its best.
Yeah, I guess I'm caught up too with that reputation of the Ouija board, but however, I do admire those people that can use the Ouija board in an efficient way and safe way, and I know some medium friends that do use the Ouija board, and they seem to do it very well and get results, so I admire their work as well.
Well, I do have to say, for our audience listening in, I do have a treat for Halloween night. I have actually booked it. It is confirmed. Karen Dahlman, and I believe you know Karen Dahlman, Bill. She is one of the masters of the Ouija board. Her and her partner are going to do a live Ouija board session for the 3 hours on Halloween night here. We as an audience can ask absolutely anything we want of them, and they are going to give the answers. So anybody who listens into that show will literally have to bring a pen and paper and start writing out as the letters come, because that's how the messages are going to come through. Hey, it may be a dud. We've never really done it here on the show, but I think it's going to be absolutely interesting to get live Ouija board questions asked by our audience throughout the show. So I think it's a steal for a Halloween night, because you never know what's going to come through.
Oh, yeah, it's very appropriate for the night, for the occasion of the event.
Absolutely. I have a question from Bill Cardwell in the SOR Space Travelers. He's saying, I've read that Thomas Edison was actually working on and inventing something that would allow him to communicate with the dead. Is this one of his inventions, or did he get that far?
Well, he never got as far as the ghost box, but he did, or at least people believe that he had some kind of device, and I believe it was some kind of a radio device that he used back then. And, you know, it's all speculation, but, you know, I definitely believe he had some form of communication there. Then, you know, spiritualism around that time was really strong in his time period, so people were very interested in trying to communicate with the other side, and so a radio was just a very good opportunity for doing this.
Hey, what do you think of all these ghost apps? Because a lot of people can't afford the paranormal technology, you know, in the hundreds of dollars, but they can't afford a $2 or a $5, maybe a $10 app. Do you think these are just novelty, or have you tested any of them out?
Well, I've tested a few free apps that are out there, and I've actually gotten some results from them, and I've also paid for one on my laptop, and I've actually gotten quite a bit of interesting stuff coming through that as well. And they're again, shall I say, not bad for what they do. They're offering, again, that continuous scan with radio audio stuff going through, that spirits could, or any type of entity could make communications with you. And again, I think it's, you know, your positive thought towards, you know, your endurers to try to communicate with the spirits. So it's very much happening. I tend to be more of a radio guy, but however, I have played a little bit with the apps to see what they're like, and I've actually asked, you know, I've had people ask me about them and test them out. So it's been interesting, I'll have to say. I mean, do they work? I would say to a degree they do. Any other thoughts on the apps yourself, Dave?
Absolutely. Sorry, I was talking to myself there with my microphone on mute. It's a rough night.
Okay.
It's a rough night right now. You know, that whole computer thing right at the beginning just kind of rattled me. So I'm trying to settle it on down here, man. And apparently I forgot to hit my mute button. So thank you for reminding me, Bill. Because here I was talking away. And you know what? I had a good question, too. I did. be damned if I remember.
Yeah.
But, we'll go through that. Anyways, in regards to the apps and anything to have computer technology, where I'm a little bit hesitant on whether or not they work is computers can be easily manipulated. We've seen it so many times with different programs. They don't seem as natural as, say, a ghost box would be. Is it really a good investment, Bill, for people to try these things out? Because we want people to have some sort of communication when they're purchasing these programs. We don't want them to, be using a novelty that when you're asking for, say, Aunt Mary, all of a sudden, the word ape comes up, or, mustache, or whatever it could be. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just find them to be very inconsistent, almost like they're just trying to use a word because they haven't, the machine hasn't, or the app hasn't used a word as of yet, or in a certain amount of time.
Well, I mean, there are a lot of apps that are free that you can get through PlayStation, I guess, like for Android systems, and probably the same for Apple as well. You can test out. Again, I found, too, that sometimes the audio, you have to really amplify to hear it. That's one aspect I found with using them. So that was something I kind of had to up the, basically the application to hear what I'm, hearing, basically. So I would say that they have some good possibilities. Again, it's like you say, I mean, they are a program, so are they being manipulated? I don't know. But, I mean, obviously I have gotten some pretty good responses from them. And so, again, it doesn't hurt to try a free one if people want to do that. And all I say is always be grounded when you're doing any form of ITC work. Always be grounded, say prayers, whatever. However you do your protection, go about it. That's great. But as long as you're doing something, that's the main thing.
Well, and I do have to say that one of our sponsors is the Spirit Story Box. It is available on iTunes only, or the iPhone only in the App Store. And I have had some success with that. I keep it on. And I remember when I was asking Jill and Roger Pingleton, who invented it, whether or not it works, I actually got to talk to Roger for about an hour where he went through absolutely everything. And the painstaking process of having to type in 80,000 words, so that way there could be communication with it. I find sometimes that it is very much accurate. I don't do it enough to get accuracy on a daily basis, because I think something like this, you probably, in order to get more accuracy, you have to work with it almost on a daily basis and put some serious time into it, so that way any spirit around you knows it can communicate through that. Would I be right with that?
Yeah, I'd say possibly. I mean, again, if they're programming that many words in there, I mean, that almost sounds like an obvious type of system that they're using, but in basically a computer program opposed to a single standalone device. So, again, I mean, my thoughts of the obvious, I've not used that type of obvious. I use the cousin to the obvious, but I use it only in the phonic mode, where I get strictly tidbits of basically it's all just broken up audio, and they have to form words and sentences with it, I guess. And so I'm more on that lines with that type of technology.
So yes or no, do you think it is a good investment for the amateur to go out there and purchase an app that does paranormal communication?
Like I said before, I mean, they can go and get free versions of it and experiment there and try it and see if they like to purchase the full version and whatever the costs are. I mean, they vary in different costs. So, I mean, I don't really want to down anybody from using these apps. Just try them out. I mean, there's two camps in this ghost box community. There's the ones that use apps all the time, and there's those that use actual radios that have been modified to scan. So, you do have those two different versions of thought in the community itself.
Question from Matthew here in the SOR Space Travelers Club on Facebook. Matthew is also our latest space traveler to sign up with us. And he is asking, have multiple spirit boxes been used in conjunction with each other to get responses? If so, was the response on all machines or only one?
Oh, that's a good question. I have heard of similar experiments with that, where they've been put into mixers and using probably one AM, one FM, one's going reverse, one's going forward. So I would say that you could get multiple replies that way. It's very possible.
How would that work?
Well, they'd have to put into a sound mixer, so basically all that sound's going in. That's going to be really noisy to go through it all, and then after you're going to have to analyze that, so that's going to be pretty harsh to listen to.
That is a lot of pressure on the ears, too, with all that white noise coming through. A lot of pressure. Well,
imagine you had 4 up to 6 ghost boxes all hooked up on a mixer and playing it into your recording device or even on a computer. It's going to be hard to listen to after to pinpoint, is multiple stuff coming through. But it is possible. I would say that it's very possible.
We got about 4 minutes before we got to hop out for our first break here, Bill. Gail has a question here. Do these ghost boxes communicate with the ghost of a specific person on demand, or are they random and you get whatever ghost is floating by?
Well, if you really try to focus in and pinpoint a key person that has passed away, you possibly can pick up, if you try it. You might have to try it quite a few times, but you can do that. That's very possible. So, again, it depends on the operator, the user, and how well they're focused in and connected with that radio device of the ghost box. So it can happen.
Do you recommend ghost boxes for amateurs, or do you think this is something that should be handled by people who have some experience in dealing with the paranormal?
Well, I wouldn't want to discourage amateurs from using it. I would just say use it with, care and caution, and again, respect as well. And, be respectful through your ghost box sessions, and, don't agitate them or, any provocation. Definitely. I do push them a little bit, but not a lot. I do it somewhat respectfully, but I don't outright do provocation.
At what point, do you remember the time, Bill, that you actually decided that this was the machine, this is good communication? Can you take us through when you were finally 100% convinced?
Would have been that year of 2010, after I started using the Hack Shack model that I converted, I basically hacked. I basically started getting a lot of good results, and I've had where I've actually felt the presence of the spirits around me, so I get all those, those feelings that you're in a haunted location. Actually, I felt like I was sitting on a picnic bench, and it felt like a man named Ernie. When I asked his name, he was right beside me. His energy was so strong, and he came through very strong on the radio.
Awesome. So at that point, you just said, damn it, this thing works. I got to investigate this and concentrate more on this.
Yeah, I would say that this definitely enhanced my whole outlook on the paranormal, going into this realm of the ITC. And, and still, I used the regular ghost hunting skills that I've learned along the way, too, on investigations. So, yeah, this form of communication, it does work. So it's what you're willing to put into it. And basically, like I said, it's state of mind, be positive, and give the chance for the communication at this end and that end, because you're bridging the gap with the radio to the other side.
Absolutely. And on that note, we're going to hop out for our first break of the night. Bill Hauser is our guest. We're talking Ghost Box, live Ghost Box session coming up next on Spaced Out Radio.
Looking for news beyond the mainstream news? Head to spacedoutradio.com and check out the SOR Spacewire. This is Spaced Out Radio's Eric Markham, news director for the SOR Spacewire. Daily, I will bring you intriguing stories and outlandish reports from what's going on around the world. UFO sightings, paranormal activity, conspiracies, alternative health, and so much more. And if you have news, email me at news@spacedoutradio.com.
Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski, lead investigator with U4Cop. On the final Monday of every month, you can listen to me and host Dave Scott on Spaced Out Radio's Strange Days. We're going to get to the heart of the matter when it comes to what's happening out there. People are seeing and experiencing things from ET contact to Bigfoot, and I want to hear about it. Your experiences are what we investigators need to help solve these unknown mysteries. So tune in at spacedoutradio.com.
Greetings and salutations, space travelers, from the Chronicles of the Unknown team.
What is Chronicles of the Unknown? I keep hearing about this thing.
It's a new paranormal reality TV show based right here in beautiful British Columbia, Canada. Follow our team as we uncover claims of activity on the Caribou Gold Rush Trail. You can also follow us here every third Monday, where two members of our team will be available to answer your questions.
Have you ever wondered about those weird and strange creatures people have reported throughout history? Do you wonder if those stories are real? Me too, and that's why I started Cryptopia.us. Hey, this is Rob Morphy, crypto historian. Join me once a month on Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott, where we will get into the odd and bizarre reports, from the Dover Demon to hairy hominids and everything in between. I will break down what people like you and me are seeing at spacedoutradio.com.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. With their money-back guarantee and the many benefits, how can you afford not to get one? Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com for mind, body, and spirit, and expect a miracle.
Strange creatures lurking in the night, the sounds of wood knocking in the forest, odd happenings right out of a fictional world. These are the reports I love. Hi there, this is author Ronald Murphy, and I would love it if you join me and Spaced Out Radio host Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month on our journey into the unknown land of cryptozoology at spacedoutradio.com. From Mothman to Frogman and everything in between. Hey, they don't call me the crypto guru for nothing.
Are you interested in advertising on Spaced Out Radio? Head to our website at spacedoutradio.com and click on our advertising tab. There, you will find an assortment of ways you can get your product out there with us, from radio commercials to banners and social media. Have a product you like our hosts to endorse? We can do that too. Visit spacedoutradio.com for more details.
From British Columbia to Northern California, Pacific North Weird has Cascadia covered. Check out our feature videos at spacedoutradio.com, where I, Vincent Zunza, and my super sleuth partner Alexandra Sullivan track down the weird and strange stories from around the Pacific Northwest. From Bigfoot to Mel's Hole and everything in between. This is what makes life exciting. So why report the normal when we can report the Pacific North Weird right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Oh, there's only one way to rock. Loud and proud. In high definition. Radio 702 rocks. Las Vegas.
Have you ever had an extraterrestrial experience? One you just couldn't explain? Well, maybe I can help. Hello, I am Samantha Mullet. On the second Tuesday of each month, I will join Dave Scott on Spaced Out Radio to bring a human aspect to ET contact. It's something I've lived with my entire life, and I'd love to help you understand. Let's share our experiences. The ET Experience, the second Tuesday of each month, only on Spaced Out Radio.
Hi there, this is Jolene with Reveal Reiki and Readings, and I want you to relax. Let me help you chill out and get in touch with your body, mind, and soul. In this busy world, sometimes we need to let go, and this is where I can help. Visit my website, rivuletrr.wix.com/rivuletrr&r.
Every Saturday and Sunday night, as Dave Scott wanders aimlessly in the wilderness, you can come hang out with me, James Tyson, in Spaced Out Weekend. Starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, I'll take you along as we talk with some of the best experts in their fields. SpacedOutRadio.com is the place to find us. So sit down, relax, put your feet up, enjoy the topics like the paranormal, supernatural, intuitiveness, and so much more. Hope to see you there.
Hi there, this is your psychic medium Joanna, and I would love it if you would join us every other Sunday on Spaced Out Weekend. With host James Tyson, we'll bring you personal psychic messages on two mediums and a large. Questions about love, life, career changes. We would love it if you would come and join us live. Call in and listen in for the experience. Allow us to open the doors to your other side. Two mediums and a large, heard only on Spaced Out Weekend at spacedoutradio.com.
Would you like to become one of our space travelers? All you have to do is click on the Space Travelers icon at spacedoutradio.com. For only $5 a month, you can get access to some great prizes, as well as private monthly shows, newsletters, and a members-only section on our website. Become a space traveler today.
Do you have a topic or a guest that you'd like to hear on Spaced Out Radio? Let us know at spacedoutradio.com, where you can sign up to become a Space Traveler member today. Or you can find us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on our Facebook page, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Welcome back to the second hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Good to have you with us. If you are participating in the Spaced Out Radio chat room on Spreaker, on the Spaced Out Radio SOR Space Travelers on Facebook, or Revolution Radio's chat room. Remember, if you are a member listening in on Revolution Radio, the Double R machine is a donation station financed by you, the listener. Take the time to donate today. Your password, if you're an SOR space traveler, is incorporeal. Incorporeal is your password set by Bill Cardwell tonight. Bill Hauser is our guest. So Bill Cardwell is the man on the password mission. And he's nailed it right. Incorporeal is your password for tonight. If you're a space traveler, use it wisely. Tomorrow night on the show, it is the SOR Roundtable, where we gather a bunch of really cool people to come along. Even Eric Cooper's beard is going to be with us as we ask some weird, odd, strange questions of the month that was. Can you believe we're already through October, pretty much? Man, has 2016 flown by. The SOR Roundtable, 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern Time, tomorrow night. We kick things off at spacedoutradio.com and on Revolution Radio. If you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so at Spaced Out Radio. Give our Facebook page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. On Instagram, I can be followed at Dave Scott SOR. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show. That's where we store our archives. And our website is spacedoutradio.com. While there, you could join the SOR Space Travelers Club for just $5 a month, like Matthew Smith did recently. Gail as well. Thank you so much for being a part of the team. And you can also read our latest blogs. Mine is on the paranormal. There's other talented writers there as well. You can read the SOR Spacewire by our news director, Eric Markham. And if you like our music, check out the Bumblefoot banner. Ron Bumblefoot THAL, formerly of Guns N' Roses, takes care of all our musical needs here on the mighty SOR. Tonight we are talking with Bill Hauser. He is an expert on the Ghost Box. We're going to do some live Ghost Box sessions coming right up here. Bill, welcome back.
Great. Thank you for having me back. You know, you keep saying expert all the time, and I feel really in the paranormal there is no expert. So I look at it this way. We are specialists if we're really as investigators and researchers. And that's kind of how I feel on the whole thing there. So it's not like I'm ragging you out tonight, Dave, but yeah, definitely we are specialists.
Can I call you a guru? Because guru, everybody likes the title guru.
Well, some people call me the Ghost Box King, so I don't know if I could live up to that reputation there, Dave, but the Guru sounds pretty cool. It sounds kind of mystic.
Well, I've never seen you with a crown on, so I'm not sure about the king. You know, but Guru, I mean, I could see you playing your sitar, sitting around with your ghost box. I could see it now.
Yeah, I could imagine that with me in my nice satin robe.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Awesome.
We're getting a good picture of it now, my friend. Oh, my. Okay, let's start off with a question in the SOR Space Travelers from Claudia. Claudia is asking, if ghosts are energy, are ghosts attracted to certain people's energy or a person's tone?
Very much so, I would say. Yeah. Especially if they know that you are really, that you understand them and everything, and you feel that their presence is there. Even if you don't really believe in ghosts there, they might even test you out a little bit too. So there's that side as well. They'll kind of spook you just to get you to be a believer.
Gail has a question in the SOR Space Travelers. Has any ghost that has been communicated with decided to stick around?
With my communications personally?
Yeah.
Generally, no. I do a lot of cleansing in my living area and incense and that, and so I tend to. For some reason, they don't really bother me that way. They don't follow me home too much. I kind of learned a long time ago to protect myself, and so now they don't do that. So if they do, they're going to get a lot of all kinds of incense and so on.
Explain protection and the importance of protection, because you've mentioned that a couple of times now.
Okay. For me, protection is, again, number one. It's okay, you're going to be using incense and all that. That's great. And saging, white saging, whatever. But, however, it comes down to you with state of mind. That's what I feel. You have to really have state of mind. So you visualize the white light and gold light, first of all, of protection around you, and believe in it. That, to me, is the thing. No matter what your religious beliefs are, a prayer doesn't hurt, long as you believe in it. And that's what matters when you go out and do any kind of paranormal investigations, research, whatever, or any type of communication. You need to protect.
Should everybody protect even though their religious beliefs are different?
I would say, yeah. I mean, just do the way you feel comfortable. If it's just simple saying a prayer and believing in it, go for it. And even if you're not religious there, you don't have to go through all the, the white sage and all that. It's just simply visualizing safety around you, like a barrier. White light's a good metaphor, I find. That works quite well. So the white light, golden light, and just around you as a form of protection.
Eric Cooper is asking, I'm not sure if it's him or his very high-quality beard, is asking, have you ever been threatened by a spirit on a ghost box?
Not outright threatening, but I have been sworn at on, basically profanity at me, very colorful at the times. And again, that is very important. If they swear to me, you can't do that on broadcast radio, because these are all tuned to broadcast radio. So these are FM tuners. So basically it's the broadcast channels that you listen to on the radio. You cannot swear at all. So when you get these F-bombs and A-holes and whatever this comes through, I mean, it's very colorful at times. That's important. That, to me, is verification that something is definitely happening. So I take it as not so much an insult, but a verification of my work.
Gloria is asking in the SOR Space Travelers, can't you just use an AM/FM radio and turn the dial to the white noise to get contact, or does it have to be a continuous moving signal?
You could do both. I have experimented a little bit with turning the dial right down to 520 around our area. You just get nice, pure white noise. That has worked quite well. Some people, they say it works well with the old transistor radios. So, again, with AM radio, there's always that chance of disturbance, more so than the FM. FM tends to be a bit more cleaner, and it does have a bit different sound to the white noise. So, yeah, it's very possible just to do it on a single channel, basically a dead channel, dead air.
Trip is asking in the Spaced Out Radio chat room on Spreaker, Bill, do you do a walkthrough before investigating? Do you record as you walk through? And have you ever caught anything in your walkthroughs?
Actually, I do. I walk through with the client, and I use the digital recorder at the time, and I see if I'm getting any types of EVPs or whatever, and I'm also listening for any disembodied voices as well that I can hear audibly as well. And so I use the digital recorder to pick all that up. And so, yeah, I do that as a rule of thumb. It works quite well, and yeah, it's a good technique to do.
Getting back to protection, Gail is asking, what from the ghost does any researcher need protecting from?
Well, number one, a ghost could zap your energy. They could linger onto your energy field and make you sicker than a dog. In other words, they drain your energy so you feel physically, mentally down. And so it'll actually feel like you got a bad case of flu or something. And some people have actually gotten really sick by doing this. And other people have thrown up and gotten dizzy and so on. So it's very important that you do that. So basically, we are energy ourselves. So they're going to zap our energy just to gain some more energy. Or they'll go after your electronic devices and zap the battery out of that as well. That's happened to me lots of times, and that's very common in the paranormal field, is having your battery zapped out of your electronic devices.
Matthew has a question here. EVP recordings require many hours of nothing to record only a few words. Why does a ghost box seem to yield so much more frequent and replicable results?
Well, I think you're tapping better into a ether. In other words, generally speaking, you're allowing for more opportunity for something to happen. And so by you coupling your energy to the device, shall we say, and contact field is a good term for it, things can happen. Things will slowly, you'll get stronger and stronger communication coming through. And you look for the intelligent responses on a ghost box. And that's really the same when you do a regular EVP session. Yeah, you do get stuff that doesn't come through very well in some areas. And even on the ghost box sometimes it happens where I get very little coming through at a time. So both are possible.
Let's set up tonight's ghost box session.
Okay.
Whereabouts are you?
Would you like... I'm back at the same location. I'm right beside the old torn-down Fleetwood Elementary School, and it's a parking lot right beside it there. It's a public parking spot, so I'm right against the fence area, so I can see over to the vacant lot now.
And what makes that such a good spot for you to get communication?
Well, Fleetwood Elementary had a reputation for being haunted. It's had a little girl get run over in the front of the school on 88th Avenue. The other one I heard, too, was a teacher got murdered on her way back home from school in the afternoon. And the janitors have reported all sorts of strange stuff, as well as students, too. And I've actually had some people comment on my Facebook, my YouTube channel, about things that they've seen as well, and areas that they know that have been haunted down in the basement areas and so on.
So this is a proven place that it is a haunted piece of land, and you're still getting spirit activity there as well.
Yeah, even after the school's been torn down, there's still, I get a lot of stuff on the ghost box for that, as well as the general area. I'm not far from a cell tower, So that also probably is kicking in like an EMF pump, shall we say, as well. So this area tends to be quite charged with spirit activity.
Do you not find that it being near a cell phone tower that could, maybe hinder any true communication because you could pick up any type of phone conversation?
Well, there are different frequencies from the broadcast radio, for one example. I mean, basically cell frequencies are a lot higher. I mean, they're in the gigahertz cycle now. So generally speaking, that's, I believe they call in radio talk like microwave or whatever. So, and the towers are always up higher. So the energy is slowly forms its way down to the ground level. So, yeah, I wouldn't want to be up right beside that cell tower, that's for sure. You'd probably get yourself cooked. I mean, a lot of energy there.
Bill Cardwell is wondering if there's a possibility that you could take a picture of the place and post it here for them to see. I know you're working on your cell phone now, so it'll be difficult for you to do during the show, but maybe afterwards on the SOR Space Travelers on Facebook, you could maybe post a picture.
Yep, I got some pictures I can do. I could do that on my Facebook as well. If they want to, they can go into the message room of the Spaced Out Radio. I got samples of stuff, and there's one area of this area of Fleetwood Elementary. That would be the picture I would use, so they can actually hear that with an audio clip with it as well.
Excellent. Let's fire this bad boy up, and let's see how it's done.
Okay, I'm going to start with the direct link, the one I used before I go over to the brand new one. So we'll turn it on. Hello? Who would like to speak to me? Do you have anything you'd like to tell me right now? Do you have a message? Any message? Do you know that I'm talking on a radio show through my cell phone? If you've got anything you'd like to say out there to any of the listeners, you're welcome to do so. Let them know you're here. Do you have anything you'd like to say to anybody? No? Did anyone ever go to Fleetwood Elementary? Is the teacher there that was murdered from going home from work from Fleetwood Elementary? Is she there? How about the little girl that got ran over in front of the school at Fleetwood Elementary? Is she there? Who else is there then? Can I get a name? How are you? So we are peace tonight. Are we at peace? Are you happy? Or are you sad? What would you like to tell us? You have something in particular you'd like to tell us right now? What would that be? You're very welcome to say something. Where are you right now? Can you tell? Or are you allowed to tell me? Okay, well, I'm going to thank you for communicating. We'll be doing more sessions, so thank you. Okay, how did that sound, Dave?
I think people are a little stunned because a lot of people haven't heard this before. They don't know how fast it goes. Does it normally move that fast?
Yeah, I've actually turned the scan down, so it is fast. So it's attuning your ear to listening to this type of communication, number one. And also going back after and listening to the show and using headphones won't hurt. So if you're listening right now, definitely listen with headphones. That'll enhance your listening of the Ghost Box sessions.
For a lot of people, they will find it very annoying, hard to pick things up. How hard do you have to concentrate in order to hear the answer of the question?
I hear a lot of what I'm saying and getting responses are, but yeah, sometimes, you're processing that, so I do miss some things. Yeah, that's very possible.
So when you're going through that, you hear a clicking sound. What is that clicking sound that we were hearing?
That's the scanning. That's the radio actually going through the different frequencies, scanning or sweeping.
And how many channels or how many signals is that processing, say, in a minute?
Well, it would be in seconds. So It's scanning probably, it's hard to say because there's no actual dial to tell you on the radio, but it's scanning pretty fast. I would say at least almost 100 per second.
That's pretty fast. A lot of people could say that, hearing that noise over and over again, and I remember being like this the first time we did this on this show to test it out. I remember thinking, damn it, this is obnoxious. This is annoying sound. But the more you listen to it, the clearer it becomes, doesn't it? Because I can tell you right now, Bill, I totally agree with what you are doing and what you are hearing, because when I heard my own last name the last time we did this, and everybody knows I have a long Ukrainian last name, just nobody knows what it is. Anyways, when I heard it come through the last time, you really have to pay attention, and the more you actually listen to it, the more your ears and your mind become in tune to listen between the signals, doesn't it?
Yeah, the more you listen to it, the more I do this, the better I get at it listening too. So I always suggest, if you're actually got a ghost box, is to record your sessions and then play them back later and just see what you get. Because a lot of times there's going to be stuff you miss, and you may even catch a traditional EVP with it. So it can kick up a lot of activity as well. So that's very possible.
We did get confirmation from a couple people coming through that they did hear a male voice say the word Fleetwood in the background besides yours. So
yeah,
that is information. So what I want for anybody who is new to this and hearing this on the radio, yes, it's going to sound staticky. Yes, it's going to sound like, a bunch of mishmash thrown together. Okay, but what you really have to do here is pay attention to what Bill is asking. And the answers, not always, but the answers will come through. And the more you listen and the more you get in tune with what you are hearing, the more you're going to be able to hear. Like I said, I am just like you guys out there. When Bill first brought this to the show, what was it, about a year ago now, Bill? Maybe a little bit longer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in November of last year, the first time I was on your show.
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, I didn't buy it. I didn't think that. I thought, wow, this is kind of cool, but I would really want a huge session. And near the end of the show, in hour number 2, when we were doing only the 2-hour show, I started to actually hear what Bill was hearing. And I started listening to the answers. But it wasn't until, I believe it was January, we brought you back on again. And then all of a sudden, I hear my last name, and I was blown away. And that convinced me that we were actually listening to this type of communication. So what I'm trying to tell you as an audience is take your time, listen. It does sound like crap. Bill doesn't, back away from that. It does sound like crap. It sounds like back in the 70s in Mom and Dad's car when the 8-track was off and you're actually just spinning the dial trying to find something that you could listen to that wasn't country music from the 50s. Because, hell, that was painful back in the day. Or disco. Although I think Joe Algeier was a big disco fan back in the day. So, question from Trip in the Space Out Radio chat room on Spreaker. He is asking, can you cover it when asking a question so we can hear your question? Like, is there a way to turn down the volume so we can hear your question?
I could try. It would work. I don't want to muffle it out too much because then you're not allowing a lot of stuff to come through. So that's one factor in place.
Mm-hmm. And Shar is saying in the Spaced Out Radio chat room on Spreaker that she asked a question in her head and she actually heard the name of her cat come through.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Maybe that's that mind connection that we were talking about earlier.
Absolutely. Why don't we fire this bad boy up again and see if we can get any communication. Let's see if anybody knows that they're listening to Spaced Out Radio and that we have an audience listening to them.
Hello? Do you know that we're on a radio show tonight? There's many listeners listening right now. If you want to say something, you're welcome to do so. You got something you want to tell us? Do you know the host's name? You know any of the listeners out there, maybe? You have something you'd like to tell them, at least? Dead? Okay. How did you pass away, if you don't mind me asking? So what year did you pass away in? Do you know any of our names? What would you like to tell us? Good evening. How are you, sir? And who's happy there? Do we have any happy entities or spirits? Are you happy? I have a question. Who lived around this area of Fleetwood in Surrey? Who else is there? How are you tonight? Okay, I thank you for communicating with me. Okay, how did that sound?
I thought that one sounded very good. I really think that did. And a few things I got when you asked, did you know that we were on the radio? I heard yes, radio. And then you and I heard the word dead as well.
Yes.
And
that was very, very strong.
Yeah. And then why did you say that? Is that you? Right after your questions. And listener D, or Denise, actually heard D, because she goes by D-E-E. D, she heard D come across as well. And it's funny because her father, just a couple of weeks ago, passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it is.
Well, I mean, it could be very possible. Yeah, it's very possible that someone's reaching out. That's a relative there connecting. I mean, it's very possible. So, I think the more we do it tonight, the better we'll have our communications. I think they're going to warm up a little better too. So,
Absolutely. So,
well, I don't think they're used to seeing me with a cell phone in the other hand while I'm communicating with them. Usually, if anything, I have a digital recorder with me or something like that, but not my cell phone. So maybe they're a little apprehensive, but I think they're going to warm up a little more.
Yeah. Matthew has an interesting comment here. He's saying, I wouldn't be out at night in Surrey. Are you in a safe area of Surrey right now?
Generally not too bad. Yeah, I mean, there are a few misfits around here, but generally it's not too bad. So I can concur with what he's saying. Yeah, some parts of Surrey I definitely wouldn't be there right now, like the Wally area, but I don't want to say anything bad about the Wally area. But yeah, some parts of Surrey you have to be careful about.
Yes. Surrey would be like, for our American listeners, Surrey in British Columbia here would be like the equivalent of, oh goodness, pick any Skid Row. Maybe not that bad, but it's a violent, stray type area where a lot of homeless, a lot of addicts tend to roll around. So it's not a very, in certain areas there, it's not a very, very safe place. But, there are parts of Surrey that are nice too, especially when you head towards the southern area, towards White Rock and places like that where the beach is. So it is kind of a well-shaped area. Gloria is asking, or making a comment here. She's basically saying, boy, I really had to concentrate and I still couldn't hear things clearly. And she kept on saying, say my name. But it does take time, and like I said right before we did that session, it does take time to actually get your own mind in tune with what is being said. Am I correct on that, Bill?
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely in a different location through, the joy of me on a phone hooked up to the internet kind of thing at your end. So, yeah, you have this distance as well. But, you know, I've been on other radio shows where distance didn't really matter sometimes. So it just depends on how the energy flows. And, you know, sometimes they're a little apprehensive at first. And like I said, they got to warm up to communicating. So that's another factor as well.
Zop in the Revolution Radio chat room wants to ask, have you ever consulted with Zach Bagans at Ghost Adventures about the ghost box?
Not really. I've had very little contact with guys like that, but, you know, I mean, yeah, he's on a show all the time, and yeah, he's using whatever devices he likes to use, and PSP-7, PSP-11, and whatever else that he uses. So, yeah, I mean, it is a TV show, so it's there to entertain you. And, you know, I'm not going to knock the shows that much because they do give people the opportunity to look at the paranormal and say, hey, there might be something going on here that normally they would not look at. I mean, a lot of times we wait till Halloween or around that month of October to think about the spookiness or maybe that haunted house that we heard reputation about.
Shar wants to know if you've ever asked these spirits, or do you think they are in limbo, or they're just having the ability to communicate?
Well, I do ask them, are you happy at times? And so I sometimes will get sad. Other times I'll get a straight happy or whatever, or, you know, sometimes they'll just ignore me. So I do ask those questions. So, you know, I am concerned in a way on how they feel at their end. So if they're willing to communicate, that's great.
When we restart the next session, Denise, who goes by D, is wondering if you could ask her dad's name next time what the name of her dad is, just in case it comes through, because she is adamant she heard the word D come through, which her dad used to call her, and it would be nice to see if we could try and get that name through.
Okay, so refer to D.
Yeah, we're trying to get his name, because she clearly heard the name D, which he called her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello. D's father, are you out there? Are you out there, sir? Could you give us your name and confirmation? Do you want to communicate with us, Steve? He would like you to communicate with us. The dad of D, are you there? Maybe. Do you want to talk? What would you like to tell us? D would like you to say your first name, Dad. How about that? Why don't you say your first name, at least? Yeah, come on, say it. Do you have a message for D? Dad, do you have a message for D? He wants to know. Can you say it, please? D? Dad, are you there that you want to speak to us right now? Come on, Dad, say something. How are you then? Can you say at least you're fine or something? Okay, well, we thank you for communicating with us. We're going to end this session. Okay, how did that sound?
That sounded excellent. Okay, here's the response. Dee heard her name, Denise, and more importantly, when you asked her father's name, she heard the name Oscar, which was her father's name.
Okay, that's great. That's good confirmation right there.
Yes.
You know, I kind of pushed Dad a little so he could say something to us. So I do it respectfully, but I don't, taunt him. That's the difference between the kind of work I do and what other people do. I mean, I really don't want to knock other people, but I tend to be respectful in this area of how I communicate.
Yeah, we definitely got confirmation there in this one, and we can definitely try again. I know Claudia is asking if you could say hi to Valerie, her sister who passed away a few months ago. Claudia would love to be able to know if she responds tonight. Her nickname was Thule.
Okay, so I'll use the two names, Valerie and Thule, to try to make contact.
For sure. I love this. I think it's... Dee also heard, or Denise also heard the word dad, too. So, and I heard the word yes as well when you asked, is her dad here? So, I think that's really cool. Really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
The funny part about it is, and I want people to know, Bill is in Surrey, British Columbia. Now, Denise is somewhere in Texas. I'm not sure where. I just know she's in Texas. So that's about 2,700 miles in between the two locations. And it's amazing to me that a spirit in Texas, and I know I'm looking at this on very human terms, but a spirit in Texas could actually communicate with a ghost box session way up here in British Columbia, about 2,700 miles away.
Yeah, exactly. It's amazing. I mean, really, the time and space really don't matter once you start establishing a connection. And I really do feel they're warming up now to communicate with us.
Mm-hmm. Me too. Joe has a quick question here, and I'm not sure if it's Joe or his lovely mane of hair, because Joe has great hair. We always like to point that out on this show. He's an SOR space traveler as well. Would a police scanner tuned to all blank frequencies work?
Possibly, as long as you can hear. I mean, I've used a scanner a lot, too. I like listening recreationally to whatever is out there in emergency services, so the only thing is you got squelch and that, so you want to try to keep that down a little bit. So you want to hear, but not, get yourself too wound up with all that white noise. So it's scanning, on a nice click there. So they're usually preset scan rates on the those types of radios.
Excellent. Well, let's try it out for Claudia. Remember, everybody, we are listening for the word Valerie, or the name Valerie, or the nickname Thule. Claudia's sister passed away a number of months ago, and we are going to try and send all that positive energy and love to try and bring Valerie into Bill's Ghost Box session here. So if you want to fire that up again, my friend.
Hello? It's Valerie there. Valerie, your sister's on the other end of my telephone. indirectly listening in. Can you say something to her? Valerie, are you there?
Gone.
She's gone. Okay, but is she around? Still somewhere in another area? Can she communicate with us? How about if I address her as Truly? Does that make you feel better? Truly, your sister's on the other end indirectly. She can hear. Say hi to her, please. Did you do it? Did you tell her that you're okay, at least? Can you do that, please? Valerie? What do you want me to call you, Valerie? By your nickname, Shirley or Valerie?
now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we thank you if you're trying to communicate with us. Okay, how did that sound?
That was amazing. Like, literally, as soon as you said, can we talk to Valerie? Valerie here came out, and other people heard that as well. So
yeah, that's good.
And I also heard, when you said, is Valerie around, I heard back to Georgia. I'm not sure if there's any connection there at all.
Yeah. Was she from Georgia, maybe? I don't know.
I have no idea. I think Claudia is West Coast. I'm not sure where her sister is, but
yeah,
it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
And then my friend Mike, who's tweeting me, he's going to be starting up something cool on Spaced Out Radio here soon. He heard Gone and Taken. Everybody is confirming, once again, they heard Valerie here, which is nice. So, she showed up. She absolutely showed up. You know, that is awesome.
Yeah.
That is.
I just wanted to mention, I did see, look like the helicopter nearby with lights, but I'm not sure nearby, so maybe Surrey's reputation's kicking up there, but hopefully I heard a little sirens, but it seemed to have stopped, so hopefully the problem sides.
Claudia is confirming, yes, I heard it. I heard her say, uh-huh, as well. So that would be, I would consider, 2 successful communications here, both with Denise and now with Claudia. I'm very excited about this. I'm very excited about this. Do you mind if we ask if any other of our listeners have a deceased relative or friend that they may want to try and communicate with?
Sure.
All right.
Okay, let's fire the baby up again. Okay, so Dave, can you tell me a name of somebody while the ghost box is playing?
You know what, let's start it out, because I don't want to point anybody out. Let's start with me. Let's see if anybody that I know who has passed on wants to communicate.
You would? You want to communicate then? Are you a relative of anybody on the chat room in the radio show? Do you have something you'd like to tell us? How about to a family member in the chat rooms? There's other chat rooms too, other rooms in here. If you want to, you can say something to them.
For what? I'm great. And then
there's someone with name B. What would you like to say to someone in the chat room? Are you a relative? Or a friend? Do you have a connection to them? Okay, we thank you for communicating. Okay, I don't know if that really helped in the way of our communications.
Well, you know what? Maybe we need to be a little bit more specific. And I've got some people
here. I think so.
Let's start with Mike here. He's a good friend of mine. He's texting into me. His father, Peter, passed away a couple of years ago. And he'd like to see if Peter comes through.
Okay. Hello? Is the father of Mike there, Peter? Do you have a message for your son? Do you have a message, Peter? Do you have something you'd like to say to your son? He's listening in indirectly. Let him know you're okay? Peter, you have really something you want to tell your son right now? You would like to hear you say something. Tell him you're okay, at least. So, Peter, are you at peace right now?
Sorry.
You want to talk to us, Peter?
Groups.
Okay, we thank you for communicating with us. Okay.
And on that note, we're going to hop out for a quick break, and we'll talk about the results right after this. You're listening to Spaced Out Radio. Bill Hauser, our guest, live Ghost Box Sessions. We'll be back right after this break.
Greetings and salutations, space travelers, from the Chronicles of the Unknown team.
What is Chronicles of the Unknown? I keep hearing about this thing.
It's a new paranormal reality TV show based right here in beautiful British Columbia, Canada. Follow our team as we uncover claims of activity on the Caribou Gold Rush Trail. You can also follow us here every third Monday, where two members of our team will be available to answer your questions. We'll give you some equipment updates and some of our experiences on the road, right here on Spaced Out Radio.
Hi there, I'm Butch Witkowski, lead investigator with the UFOR On the final Monday of every month, you can listen to me and host Dave Scott on Spaced Out Radio's Strange Days. We're going to get to the heart of the matter when it comes to what's happening out there. People are seeing and experiencing things from ET contact to Bigfoot, and I want to hear about it. Your experiences are what we investigators need to help solve these unknown mysteries. So tune in at spacedoutradio.com to the final Monday of every month from Butch Witkowski's Strange Days.
Visit purpleplates.com today. For over 40 years, the Purple Energy Plates have been delivering amazing results for their many customers. Inspired by the great genius Nikola Tesla, the harmony, healing, and energetic effects of the plates have proven over and over to be beneficial and often miraculous to thousands of customers. With their money-back guarantee and the many benefits, how can you afford not to get one? Check their site for daily specials and choose from their many energy products. You won't be sorry. Visit them today at purpleplates.com for mind, body, and spirit, and expect a miracle.
This is your medium, Joanna, from Spaced Out Weekend, 2 mediums and a large. I would love it if you would come and join us with host James Tyson every other Sunday on Spaced Out Weekend. Together, we will take your calls and your questions live. Our goal is to provide you with a positive outlook on deep questions that you may have. Questions regarding love, relationships, money, or whatever else is on your mind. Come and check us out at spacedoutradio.com.
Have you checked out the SOR Spacewire at spacedoutradio.com yet? Every day we post the latest stories regarding the weird, strange, and completely unbelievable. From cryptid and UFO sightings to the conspiracy world, we tackle it all. Hi there, I'm Eric Markham, Spaced Out Radio's news director for the SOR Spacewire. And if you have a story, I want to hear it. Email me at news@spacedoutradio.com.
Patrolling the Pacific Northwest, we are always on the lookout for the strange and unassuming stories that real people are experiencing. Hi, I'm Vincent Zunza from Pacific North Weird. Me and Alexandra Sullivan have teamed to bring to you those odd stories that never seem to make it into the mainstream. Stories so weird that will leave you scratching your head wondering, is this real? It's as real as it gets with Pacific North Weird. You can watch our videos right here at spacedoutradio.com.
Become more intimate and interactive with Spaced Out Radio. Join our Space Travelers Club with your new membership. For $5 a month, we'll provide you with special access to the website, monthly prize draws from books to psychic readings, along with monthly newsletter, private interviews, and more. Sign up today to be part of Spaced Out Radio's experience.
Every month on Spaced Out Radio, we look into the deep and dark reports of cryptids roaming around the world with me, Rob Morphy, from Cryptopia.us. I would love it if you would join me and host Dave Scott as we delve into the most arcane stories and reports regarding creatures of the unknown. My job is to hunt down the details and bring the evidence forward to you. These aren't your regular Bigfoot stories I'm talking about either. You can find out more about crypto history at spacedoutradio.com.
Looking for a place to advertise at a very reasonable cost? Look no further than Spaced Out Radio. SpacedOutRadio.com has an advertising tab that you can click to check out our daily, weekly, and monthly packages to play on the radio, or our website including social media. From commercial spots to banners, we have it all. Check out our competitive pricing today.
You hear footsteps in the empty room above you. A rocking chair begins rocking by itself. Don't be afraid of the things that go bump in the night. Reach for Spirit Storybox, the iPhone app the Huffington Post UK called the only ghost hunting app you will ever need. Spirit Storybox. The spirits are telling their stories. Are you listening?
Strange creatures lurking in the night, the sounds of wood knocking in the forest, odd happenings right out of a fictional world. These are the reports I love. Hi there, this is author Ronald Murphy, and I would love it if you join me and Spaced Out Radio host Dave Scott the second Wednesday of every month on our journey into the unknown land of cryptozoology at spacedoutradio.com. From Mothman to Frogman and everything in between. Hey, they don't call me the crypto guru for nothing.
Find yourself constantly looking up in the sky, looking for answers? Have you had extraterrestrial contact? Are you an abductee? Looking for answers to your experiences? Hi there, I'm R. Keith Andrews, Spaced Out Radio's resident ET expert. Join me live the first Friday of every month where I take questions from the Spaced Out Radio chat room and help you understand those from the far-off world. It's 2 hours of knowledge every experiencer should listen to. Hope to see you there.
Did you know that Spaced Out Radio runs 7 days a week? Hi, it's James Tyson from Spaced Out Weekend. Every Saturday and Sunday night, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern, you can join me and my guests for some great chatter about what's going on out in the universe, or even in that dark part of the basement you really don't want to go back into. Well, let's find the answers to your experiences together. So come on up to Uncle Jimbo's cabin on the weekend. For more information, look us up at spacedoutradio.com.
Would you like to connect with us on Spaced Out Radio? Head to spacedoutradio.com to check out the latest shows, guests, and sponsors. And don't forget to sign up for the Space Travelers Club. You'll find all you need at spacedoutradio.com.
Welcome back to Space Out Radio tonight. I am your host, Dave Scott. Good to have you along for this Ghost Box ride. Tomorrow night on the show, it's the SOR Roundtable. We do this the final Friday of every month. We'll also be doing a draw for the SOR Space Travelers on another big prize. We will do that ASAP tomorrow night. It's always a fun show where we debate the month that was. Can you already believe we're through October? If you are an SOR space traveler, Bill Cardwell has set the password tonight. Incorporeal. Incorporeal is your password, which is very, very cool. It's a good one. Use it wisely, space travelers. Want to welcome in everyone listening in on the Spaced Out Radio Network, on Spaced Out Radio's chat room on Spreaker, on the Revolution Radio chat room. Remember, if you are listening in on Revolution Radio, the Double R Machine is a donation station financed by you, the valued listener. Take the time to donate today. And the welcome listeners of the SOR Space Travelers Club, good to have you with us as well. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Give our Facebook page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. On Instagram, I can be followed at Dave Scott SOR. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Spaced Out Radio Show, and our website is spacedoutradio.com. While there, you can join the SOR Space Travelers Club. Read up on the latest blogs by clicking on the blog tab. Check out the SOR Space Wire for the weird and wacky news of the day. And if you like our music, it is Mr. Ron Bumblefoot THAL, formerly of Guns N' Roses, who takes care of all Spaced Out Radio's music. We thank Mr. Bumblefoot for that. Tonight we are talking to Bill Hauser. He's part of the TCPS group, the Canadian Paranormal Society. He is a master guru. And I'm using the word guru because he does have his silk robe on for this one. Bill, welcome back.
Awesome. I ran home and grabbed it.
I appreciate that. It was a long enough break where you could do that. And the police helicopter went in the opposite direction, so you are safe at home right now. Well, not technically at home. You're in a parking lot. So we have a lot of people asking questions on who we can communicate with. Right before the break, Mike had asked about his father, Peter. And
yes,
I had heard, right after you asked for Peter, I heard faintly someone say, "I'm okay," when you asked, "Are you okay?" on the other side. And when you asked if he was at peace, He said, absolutely. Mike heard that too. So he's saying he's got a lot of hair on his body standing up right now. He doesn't have much on his head, but his chin hair is fantastic. You know, got a good goatee. Good spaced out radio goatee. So, you know.
That's great.
It looks like the loved ones are coming out to play tonight.
Yeah, that's awesome. If there's more people that have their loved ones or even a really dear friend, please tell me, and I'll try to see if I can contact them.
Absolutely. And an update with Denise. She says, I was listening with earphones, and I kept saying, okay, Dad, say something, say my name. And she could have sworn it sounded like Denise, but said in Spanish, because she is Spanish. So, you know, the confirmation that we are getting is absolutely incredible. After the show, Bill, I'd like you to stick around, because Eric Cooper wants to ask you a couple questions about a case that he has been working on that maybe you and the Ghost Box can help. I won't put that on air because it is an ongoing police investigation as well that he is trying to help out. So let's try and do that after the show as well, if you don't mind.
Yeah, exactly. That's very confidential. So, yeah, I'd like to talk to him.
All right. Let's get to Chris in the Spaced Out Radio chat room on Spreaker. He would like to try and communicate with his great-grandfather that he never knew. I'm just trying to... I got to scroll up here and find the name here, because I just had it. And okay, his name was Walter. He heard a lot of him from his mom, but he never got to meet him himself.
So that's his great-grandfather, Walter.
Yes.
And his name again?
Chris.
Chris, okay, good. All right, I'll see if I can try to make contact.
Perfect.
Hello?
Mary?
I would like to get a hold of the great-grandfather of Chris. Your name is Walter. Would you like to talk to us? Your great-grandson is over on the other side of this phone indirectly. He could hear you right now. Did you say something at least? A hello or you're okay? Walter, are you there then? You want to communicate with us? Your great-grandson wants to hear you, Chris. Let him know you're okay? Are you at peace, Walter? Are you happy? Tell me, Walter, are you happy? Yes, I hear a voice very faintly. Is that you, Walter? Are you able to manifest your energy a little bit stronger so we can communicate with you? So, Walter, what's it like on the other side? You enjoy it? You're happy? I hear it's a very beautiful place. Is that true? Well, I can hear other spirits talking in. But Walter, are you able to manifest your energy a little stronger for us? I can hear a faint voice. Is that you, Walter? If so, say yes.
Helping you sweat and you.
Okay, well, we thank you for communicating with us. Okay, I did hear a very faint voice.
Yes. Reading the audience comments, there were 3 different Chris's said during that conversation. I heard clearly Walter. I wrote that down.
Yeah. Okay.
When you asked about the other side, what it was like, I heard the word good.
Okay, that's nice to know. Awesome.
Yes. So we did get some type of EVP in there in regards to it. But it's something that I find very interesting that, once again, we get a relative. I do have a question for you in regards to that.
Okay.
You were trying to ask Walter to pick up his energy a little bit because it was very faint, and you were asking him to manifest at a higher frequency, basically. I'm wondering if a spirit has passed away longer ago. I know that's bad English when I say that, but not as recent, but further away. Back in time, they passed away. Is their energy weaker if they passed away long ago comparatively to, say, someone whose energy, say, passed in the last 20 years?
Well, there's different thought on that. I tend to think that if the conditions are right, the spirits that have passed away in the early 1900s and that can come through, no question. You know, it's just all lining up. Does the energy, everything line up that they're able to make a better communication? And I think that's very possible. So I would say yes.
Okay. Perfect. All right. Let's get to another one, if you don't mind. Francesca would like to know about Lori. I'm assuming it's a friend of hers.
Okay.
She'd like to find out about Lori.
All right. Hello? Your friend Francisca's on the other side, Lori. Indirectly, she can hear you. Are you there? Are you there, Lori? Do you have a message for her? Are you happy at least? So, Lori, if you really want to say something to your friend, she can hear you right now. Hi. Is that you, Lori? Lori? At least say Francesca's name or something. Do something like that. Or say something that she would recognize. Please? Are you happy at least, Lori? Are you at peace right now? Do you have anything else you'd like to say to Francesca? Laura, can you say something else to her? She really wants to hear it. Let her know you're okay at least. Okay, well, we thank you for communicating with us. Okay, how about that? Did she recognize her name?
I heard, when you asked Lori if she was there, I heard, how are you? Or when you said, Francesca would like to know how you're doing, and she said, how are you? And I heard hi, and Paisley heard she's got a boy here.
Oh, okay.
Denise heard hello. I'm just reading the comments as they come through here. Let me see what else. Let's see here. I think that's about it for right now. Question from Mike. Does the machine ever pick up evil as it were?
As it were, that's a really interesting question. I would say it could be very possible if there's negative energy imprinted on the area that you're at. Yeah, it could easily happen. That's why you get back to the grounding, so protection and everything, so at least you are protected.
Okay, excellent. Excellent. Coco, you know Corrine de Winter from Supernatural Radio. You've been on her show. She says hello to you.
Oh, well, hello there, Corrine.
Yeah, she's a big fan. She's a big fan of the Ghost Box Guru, which we're going to call you from now on. The Ghost Box Guru.
Okay.
Bill Hauser.
All right.
Absolutely.
I'm going to have to get a picture with my robe and my ghost box in my hand.
Oh, there's got to be a pipe. There's got to be a pipe as well, you know, because everybody who wears a nice robe like you do, it needs a pipe. Let's get to another one. Gloria would like to know if you could try and contact her mother, Mary. She went by the name Nini, N-I-N-I, Nini.
Okay, her nickname, and
Mary was
so
her...
this is Gloria? Yeah.
Gloria.
So Gloria wants me to... Okay, we'll see if we can get a hold of her. Hello? Mary, are you out there? Gloria's on the other side indirectly. She can hear you. Say hi to her. Can you do that, please? She'd like to see or hear your voice again. Mimi? What do you want me to call you? Mary or Mimi?
Jeff.
Jeb? Oh, okay. Well, we're not trying to contact you there, sir. Mary? Mary, are you there? Say something to your daughter.
Hi.
Oh, can you say something? You have a message. Let her know you're okay. Let her know you're happy, at least.
An early effort.
Could we only have Mary's voice come through right now? Would that be possible? Can you help get Mary's voice out there for us? Her daughter would like to hear her voice again. Can you do that for us, please? I know you can. Let's get up all your energy, Mary. And say hello at least. How are you feeling? Or do you want me to call you Mimi? Mary? Say something to your daughter. She wants to hear your voice. Shout it out if you can. Muster all your energy up. Please? Okay, well, thank you for communicating with us. Okay, how did that go there, Dave?
We all heard Nini.
Awesome. I didn't really hear that at my end. I guess maybe
it was
some of the background noise.
It was a woman's voice who said Nini, and there was about 4 different people who heard that, including Gloria herself. So that's pretty exciting.
Awesome.
And when you asked, would you like to communicate with us, I heard a female voice say, if you'd like. And then,
yeah, I heard that too.
And then when you said, Mary or Nini, can we hear your voice? A lady's voice said, which voice? I thought that was kind of funny. I had to put my microphone on mute so I didn't laugh after that one.
Yeah. Well, I was getting actually some multiple entities coming through and saying hello and so on. So they're very friendly. So at least that was a good sign.
Jeb was there. We heard Jeb hop in when you asked it.
Yeah, he was super strong. It felt like he was right beside me there.
And Shar heard when you asked if Mary was there, she heard, yes, it is. So that's very interesting. Very interesting. Tanya heard a man say, can you help, please? I did hear that, too. I just did not write that down. But I heard that as well. Maybe we should check on that man to see who he is.
Yeah, okay. Maybe in the next session there, I'll try to see if he can come through.
For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. You have a lot of fun doing this, don't you?
Oh, yeah, I enjoy it, too, at the same time. To me, this has made the paranormal a little more interesting and definitely a lot more fun.
Mm-hmm. I can see that. Because it is real-time communication, and that has to be that has to be the big thrill of it all.
Yeah, it is somewhat stimulating, but I still have to remember that, for all the good voices coming through, there can still be that negative entity or whatever that wants to give you a bad day. So I just, when it comes down to it, I always say protection. So that's the important part. And then keep yourself grounded at least. So that way, at least you're good at the end of all your sessions, at the end of the night here after I'm finished tonight.
Now, let me ask you this then. Are there any trigger words that you are specifically listening for, Bill, to know if it is a benevolent spirit compared to, say, something with a tone of malevolence?
Well, usually if it's more negative, they will outright send you profanity or insult you. That's quite common, or, mock you sometimes or whatever. So that's one sign right there. So yeah, that's what you listen for sure. Or it could be the other side, that they're really desperate to get a hold of you, and so sometimes I could actually feel their presence beside me, so that does happen. So you have that side as well. So I have to, basically concern myself with what's happening at the time, and then be able to analyze it and deal with it as such, and, still keep the respect there. That's one thing I always try to do with my sessions. I keep the respect there, so that way it encourages more communication.
Excellent. I know we have a few others that want to go through. Corrine would like you. I just got to pull up a name here, as I am trying to find it here because I lost it and I didn't write it down. Silly me. I'm scrolling through the chat room as we speak, trying to find this, which she's probably posted it right at the beginning. Konstantin Rodiv.
Oh, yeah, she still wants me to try to get a hold of Konstantin Rodiv.
And who is this guy?
If I'm pronouncing it right.
Who is this guy?
Well, Well, he was, I believe, like a psychologist, and he was a fellow that started to spearhead the whole EVP research. He really went into different directions there, and I believe there's a diode named after him because he uses diode a lot, and he used that in his research work. So, yeah, he's definitely a very prominent researcher in his day, and so, yeah, I mean, I got great respect for this guy, and, yeah, he helped pave the way for all the other forms of communication later on in the ITC, the Instrument Trans Communications.
Well, let's see if Constantine will come through. Corrine knows his voice, so she'll be able to tell if it's him or not. Let's give it a try. And by the way, this will be our last one, and then you're going to change up machines.
Yeah, I'm going to use the new ghost box that I got not too long ago. So we'll try to get a hold of him.
Excellent.
Yes.
Hello? You know, Corrine, indirectly, she's on the other side of this phone right now. She can hear us. How about Constantine Ronadoff? We've been trying to contact you. Constantine, can you say something to us at least? How are you, sir? Is that you in the background, Constantine Ronadoff? How are you, sir? You have a message for us all. Could you please say hello to your great admirer, Corrine? Hello? Oh, hey, that's not bad. And I would like to say hello to you, sir. Do you have anything you'd like to tell us? Anything you'd like to tell me, maybe, or anybody else that's listening in? We have ourselves quite the communications link tonight. Do you have something you'd like to tell us, sir? Are you at peace there, Constantine? Do you have something you'd like to tell us at least? Remember. Someone said remember. Okay. That's a thought. How about you, Mr. Constantine Ronadoff? Are you there? Do you really want to say something to us tonight? Especially your great admirer, Corrine. She wants to hear your wonderful voice. You have something you want to tell us?
What's the point?
What's the point? Really? Well, I'd like to get a hold of Mr. Constantine Ronadoff.
All right.
I know all the other entities are trying to pipe in, but give Mr. Constantine an opportunity to say something. That's all I ask you. Well, I thank you for communicating with us. Okay, how's that went there?
That went very well. She did hear. And I noticed in this one, comparatively to other ones, that there was a lot of foreign accents in that. And as Corrine was saying, Constantine has a German accent, which I did pick up on. So I thought it was very, very clear.
Yeah, he has that heavy European accent, and I did hear once there a voice that sounded very much European. And yeah, of course, we're getting a lot of other entities, shall we say, coming through, and they're piping in with their comments. So we had that aspect as well.
I thought so too, man. I really did.
Yeah, it was quite a communication there, actually, and yeah, so what's the point? That really caught my attention there. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I find it very interesting indeed, man. I really do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that shows some emotion there behind those voices.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what? It's something that is very interesting. It's something Tanya thinks she heard a guy saying, I'm freaking out, help, and is anyone there? I think we need to try and get a hold of Jeb.
Yeah, we could do that on the other radio. And
yeah, let's try that out.
I think that would... Yeah, we'll try that out. So, want me to fire it up now?
Yes, explain the radio that you're changing to.
Okay, it's called the Coop Box 10, and these ghost box builders usually call them the names that are either their first or last name. So in this case, Coop is short for Cooper. So Steve Cooper built this box from the UK, and it's box number 10, and he even signed it on the back and everything, and he did a great job in putting it together. So let's fire it up. So when I fire it up, it's not going to scan right away on this particular radio. What it's going to do is it's going to warm up, and then it'll start scanning on us. So here we go. Nice music right there.
I think we're all grooving right now.
I know. Let's click on. Okay, here it goes. Okay, who wants to chat with us? Jen, are you out there? Jen, we're going to give you the opportunity to say something to us. Jen, are you there? Do you have something you want to tell us? Do you live around this area, Jed? Do you live in the area that I live in? At one time? Well, we'll give you the opportunity if you want to talk. Okay, who else is there? How are you? Do you want to talk to us? Does anybody have a message for us? You have something you want to tell us at least? Where are you right now? You know, we're on a radio station there. A radio show. On the other side of this phone is many people listening in. You're in a chat room. You have something you want to tell them. Say hi. How's your communication? Good? Yeah? that's good. So, what would you like to tell us? Are you happy? Yeah, that's good. Where are you? Can you tell me? Well, do you have something you want to say? Okay, we'll chat in a little while. Okay, Dave, how did that sound?
I'm going to be honest with you, the other one sounded much clearer than this one did. Much clearer.
Yeah, well, this is a different styled ghost box, so what I noticed with this one, this is where you start getting a lot of conversations happening amongst themselves as well, so that is one of the other aspects, but it has given me some good results, so I really like it. So what I did was just turn the volume down, and then we could turn it back up and do another session again.
It sounded, I'm going to get you to, if you don't mind, to switch back to the other one, because the other one was very clear and precise. The audience could hear. On this one, it sounded very, very muffled on this end, almost like there was like a towel over it or something.
Okay.
If you don't mind.
Yep, no problem. Hello? You want to talk to us? I got a question here. This is from a friend from New York. The last full moon, I believe, had a redness to it. Does that mean a sign of anything? Is that a sign of concern? Is it just a natural occurrence? Is it a sign in particular that we should all be concerned about? Okay, well, thank you for that. Anybody there would like to speak to us? Jed, are you out there? Jed? Are you out there? Hello. Get there. You can't get there. Okay. All right. Well, we thank you for communicating with us. Okay. How did that go?
Well, we're getting some good response. We heard a woman say, "Love you." We heard help.
Wow, that's great.
We heard, as Claudia says, it sounds like they're having a party tonight.
You do hear a lot of that kind of communications amongst themselves.
Hey, I got a question for you, or a couple questions from the audience here. This one comes from Trip in the Spaced Out Radio chat room on Spreaker. While you're doing these sessions, have you ever seen any anomalies, shadows, orbs while doing the spirit box tonight?
Generally, no. I haven't seen anything visual. I felt their presence quite a few times around me, like on my right side and left and around with me in the car a few times. And that, where you feel the hair on your neck stand up kind of thing, I felt that for sure. And that's about all I've experienced so far. I haven't seen any anonymous strange lights nearby or anything like that, or anything flying around that can't be explained.
Eric would like to know in the SOR Space Travelers Club if you have ever had any spirit pets come through.
I've had dogs barking when there's no dogs around. I've had that happen quite a few times on the different ghost boxes I've used. Not anything other than dogs, I would say right now, but it's possible that you could get another type of animal that's a pet or whatever. If the owner was nearby, that could be very possible.
That is very cool. Would you like to try and... He's wondering if his cat would come through. Ceridwen.
Okay. Let's see.
Or is it Ceridwen? Ceridwen? Ceridwen.
Okay.
Just couldn't name it the beard or anything like that. I don't know.
Okay. Ceridwen.
Ceridwen? Is that it?
Ceridwen, your owner is listening on the other side. You want to talk? Meow for us. Wow, I'm asking the cat. Ceridwen, your owner is listening in. Let him know you're here. Meow for us. Can you do that, please? Can you try to meow? Let him know you're here. If you can't do that, let him know personally where he is. Show your presence to him. If you can do that, that would be great. There then. Eric wants you to come over. Meow for him. Talk to him. Okay, we thank you. Okay, I hope that at least gave some confirmation for Eric.
I actually heard a lady right at the beginning when you said Ceridwen. She said Ceridwen.
Ceridwen, okay.
Ceridwen, which is the proper pronunciation. And right at the end, I hate to say this, but I'm going to put it out there. Right at the end, two men used the C word.
Oh.
Right after each other. Okay. One said it, and then the next one said it.
Okay.
It was very clear. So I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely heard the other voices piping in on that, and I think they were a little puzzled maybe, or just didn't like me talking about cats.
Well, I'm just surprised that we're dropping the C word here on Spaced Out Radio. That would be a first and second.
Okay, well, that's like I get back again. Profanity coming over, and this is a radio that basically is on the AM, or pardon me, the FM tuner. So that is confirmation. So where is those voices coming from if you can't say that on broadcast radio? That's what I always ask.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Like, what are the odds if you just scan, okay, at this rate of speed, that you would get those voices? You know, as far as I'm concerned, it would happen every once in a while, or the F-bomb or something like that. It does happen, so. But, however, that, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that's confirmation that something's happening here.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Yeah. Well, maybe not. Oh, pardon me. Sorry, my phone slipped out of my hand. But maybe not for all the maybe not for all the right reasons. But
well, profanity does happen. It does happen. So
yeah. Well, it does. It does on the other side, or at least wherever these guys are. But it does happen. I mean, they'll direct it at you sometimes, or whatever. So yeah, I've been told the F-bomb a few times.
Well, where do you want to go with this next? Who should we try and communicate with? I know you don't really do famous people.
No, I got another question from someone else that basically sent me a Facebook Messenger message. She wanted to know a little bit about the star children, and maybe the indigo children. What might the other side say about these children? So I found that question to be very interesting. That's something I've never done before, so I would really like to try that.
Well, let's get through that, and then right after that, Eric Cooper would like us to try and get a hold of his grandmother, Janie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hello? I'd like to know about the star children. What do you know about the star children? Do you have any insight for me and other people that are listening? What do you know about them, the star children? Do they have special gifts, the star children? The indigo children. How about them? Do they have any special gifts that you would know? Give us insight. Please let us know. Do you know anything about them? And then the last one, how about the crystal children? Do you know anything about that too? Do they have special powers or whatever? Can you tell us? Give us some insight. Do you know anything about these different children? Okay, well, we thank you for communicating with us. Okay, how did that go?
Well, when you asked about the star children, I heard, don't question it.
Oh, really? I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a man's voice. And let's see what else, other comments people heard. Paisley heard sweet, and then star babies. Denise heard Pleiades. Paisley heard experience.
Ladies.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
those are really interesting responses.
Yes, we got aliens on board now. Wonderful. We're not talking. We're talking through the alien box now. Francesca heard gifted.
Yeah.
Tanya heard. Good. Tanya heard they are sweet. They have great gifts.
Well, that's something that I've always wondered. I've heard a lot about these different children, and of course, I had my thoughts about it too after having someone send me this message to ask tonight on the show. So, personally, I think, it's very possible that they do have special gifts. So, that's cool. And, Frank Sumption, he claimed to have talked to aliens as well. So that's another connection with the ghost box to aliens. He believed he was talking to some levels of the Palladians, I believe. So that is another aspect that is there as well with the ghost box. So you do possibly have that level of communication.
We only have about 6 minutes left with you.
Wow, the time has gone by fast.
That is a quick 3 hours, man. I thought the 2-hour show that we did with you was quick. But this one...
Yeah, once you get going, yeah.
Absolutely.
This is a marathon.
It is, but it is, but your ascot is looking just perfectly.
Yeah, well, I find this box is really good. This one here, the direct link that's made by Jay Prather, I find it's really convenient too, the way it's all functioned with the, it's just a push button to get it going, and it just starts right away. And this one is really special because the antenna is you, actually. You hold a plate on it, and basically it's got a little plate on the side, and then you connect yourself with the device, and so your body is actually acting as the antenna. So I thought this was really cool. I know this concept has been used before in other radios of ghost boxes, so I really like it. I just thought it was awesome.
Let's get to one more. I want to get to Eric Cooper's grandmother, Janie Burke. He'd like to try and hear from her. And if we could do about 4 minutes of this, and then that'll take us right to the end of the show.
Okay.
Janie Burke.
Janie Burke. Hello? I want to contact Janie Burke. Are you there? Eric is listening on the other side of this phone. He can hear you. Are you there? Janie Burke, are you there? Do you have a message for him? Let him know you're okay, all right? Do you have something you'd like to tell him? Please do so. Are you happy over there where you are? Control, okay. I need to know, Jamie, what's it like on the other side? Are you happy there? Okay, that's interesting.
Back.
Do you have have anything else you'd like to tell Eric? Okay, well, we thank you for communicating with us. Okay, how did that go?
Good. We're trying to figure out who Andrew is. Don't know who Andrew is, because that came through very. There was quite a spooky voice in there, too. Almost like a Vincent Price type voice. I heard...
Yeah, I heard...
When you asked if they were there, if Janie was there, I heard I am. Claudia heard I am fine, and I heard hello. And the one that I'm trying to figure out, as I wrote it down here, is next one life.
Yeah, that's interesting. And does Eric recognize the voice in particular?
That we will have to ask him here. As
that would be interesting.
Because the problem with asking direct questions like that is we're on about a 30-second delay. So so it's kind of tough on that. But there were some good responses on that. We heard they heard the name Bridget and the number 10. Paisley heard a man laugh. So there was a lot of action on that one.
Yeah. A lot of times, you have that multiple voices, but sometimes they may be other relatives too. So that's the thing that I'm asking. He could tell me at some time, or you. Just would be curious to know. That's all.
Well, we're going to hook up with Eric right after this show. Bill Hauser from the Canadian Paranormal Society. Thank you so much for being on Spaced Out Radio tonight. We're going to try and set up another date with Bill in October. It all goes around Bill's work schedule, because this is a working man when he takes the ascot off. The guru has to get his daytime
I take my robe off.
Absolutely. So we are going to do this again, hopefully in October. We'll squeeze you in somewhere, even if I got to bounce someone around to make it work for you, Bill. We'll do that for you. How can people find your YouTube channel?
The best way is to Google me and put Candoey, Candoey. That's my nickname. That's my internet nickname. And they could also go Bill Hauser, a.k.a. Candoey. That's another way of doing it, too, on there. And they'll see my face and so on. And I have quite a few different sites on there. So they have audio files that they can listen to on Autoboom with short clips. And there's other sites there, Twitter and so on. So I have quite a few sites there that I'm active on.
Excellent. Thank you so much for doing this again, my friend. I'm going to get you to hold on. And we're going to close things out. Tomorrow night on the show, we round out another month with the SOR Roundtable, starting at 9 p.m. Pacific, midnight Eastern Time. Only live at spacedoutradio.com, Revolution Radio, and on the High Plains Talk Radio Network. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio. Give our Facebook page a like, Spaced Out Radio Show. On Instagram, Dave Scott SOR. We'll talk to you tomorrow night. Really appreciate your time.
Out there somewhere. This is the new totalitarian state. 1,000 eyes are waiting for you to break. Stay in line, don't make a mistake. We're watching. We watched you fall.